Fox Sports.
Royals baseball comes to you from Kauffman Stadium as the Royals begin their final homestand of the year, their last 3 games, all against first place Detroit. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Any Tigers win or any White Sox loss over the next 3 days, and the Detroit Tigers are the American League Central Division champions. The Royals obviously don't want that to happen here at Kauffman Stadium. From the Royals side, Bruce Chen starts tonight. HUD 4 years ago, he didn't pitch at all because of injury. Many people thought he was done. But tonight with a win, he wins 12 games for 3 straight years for the Royals.
Fantastic. And he is 7-4 here at the K this year. So he likes to dominate here with all those pitches, different arm angles. But look, don't do it in my house. That's going to be Bruce's theme for tonight's game. You can guarantee that he's going to go at least 6 innings if he can stay away from a big inning and also try to stay underneath the bats of those big, strong guys. But you know, Bruce and defense go hand in hand. The improved Giovitella with Escobar back in that lineup, Bruce has the formula with some early run support to get this first win.
And we'll keep an eye on Miguel Cabrera, who leads the league in batting average. He leads the league in RBIs. He's tied in home runs because of this play by Alex last week.
Call the cops, he robbed him.
Royals baseball is brought to you by your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. By the Missouri Lottery, when you play, students win. We'll look back at the Royals' best pitching performances of the year with Joel after this.
Chen on the hill making his final start of the year, and of course it is the final series of 2012. Joel Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium. We want the fans to get involved with some voting over the next few days. We'll start with best pitching performance of the year. It's our sprint, you call it. You could vote for Felipe Paulino, May 16th against Baltimore. Guthrie, August 19th against Chicago. Luke Hochevar, August 21st at Tampa Bay. Bruce Chen, his performance against Detroit. Or we also have Will Smith in September against Minnesota. We'll show you video of all these clips throughout the game. You could also tweet into @FSKansas City, hashtag and the last player's name. We've got baseball. Bruce Chen throwing the first pitch coming up next.
High definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. It must be October as we start under the full lights. And the last 3 games of the season, the Tigers at the moment have a 3-game lead over the White Sox in our Subway Surprise on the line standings. And as we speak, Chicago is at Cleveland. They have no score in the top of the 5th. So all the Tigers have to do is win one or Chicago loses one. And Jim Leyland's team is the 2012 American League Central Division champions. And the Tigers come into this series. They have won 6 of their last 7. They swept the Royals when the Royals were in Detroit. And then they went on to Minnesota and took 2 out of 3. That's how they're lined up tonight against left-hander Bruce Chen. And his first pitch is a changeup outside for ball 1 to Austin Jackson.
He's going to mix him up like he always does. And it's always fun to watch him pitch because he sets hitters up. He makes them look foolish on his 88 to 89 mile an hour fastball. He will change speeds on that fastball, drop down his arm angle, and throw you everything but the kitchen sink. And he's good. Fun to watch. Fastball, slider, curve, and a change.
2-2 on Jackson. Bruce's last start was against the Tigers. That was on Wednesday in Detroit. Pitched very well, but took the loss because Anibal Sanchez threw a shutout. And in that game, Bruce got out of a bases loaded and nobody out. That was in the 2nd inning. And he has done that now in back-to-back starts. So he comes back from 2-0 and strikes out Austin Jackson to begin the game as we look at tonight's Kia report.
He's the finisher. He knows how to finish strong. He's tossed 17 combined scoreless innings in his final 2 starts of his last 2 seasons. So that's where we are now. He's dealt home cooking 6 innings or more. In 12 of his starts here at the K, he's gone the distance. He can go. Hold down the crown. Miguel Cabrera is just 2 for 11. 1 RBI this season off of Bruce. Overall, he's got impressive numbers, but this year, Bruce has held down the Triple Crown threat.
Bruce is trying to win 12 games for a 3rd straight year with the Royals. He has a career high 138 strikeouts, and tonight is his career high 34th start. And the soft liner lands in the glove of Alex Gordon in left field, so Omar Infante is out. And now 2 down to Miguel Cabrera. Cabrera leads the league in hitting, and he's gotten some help so far. Minnesota's at Toronto, and Joe Mauer is 0 for 2. So Mauer is now 3 points behind Cabrera in batting average. Cabrera is tied with Josh Hamilton with the 43 home runs, and he has a 9 RBI lead in that category. So that's where we stand right now as far as batting average. 1 ball, 1 strike against Bruce Chen.
And that steal of his home run that Alex Gordon did back at Comerica last series, he'd be 1 ahead right now.
He has a career high 199 hits. Previous career high was 198, so he has a chance for a 200 hit season. He has his 300th career home run this year. And he chops it out to Escobar, who gets a big hop. Bruce Chen begins with a strikeout, a fly out, and a ground out in the top of the 1st. The game started on time at 7:10 Central Daylight Time, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCI. And a look at the Royals lineup tonight. Gerard Dyson will be the designated hitter. Alcides Escobar returns to the starting lineup after missing the entire Cleveland series with a sore shoulder. Mike Moustakas came out of the game early yesterday with a slight groin strain. He's back in there, but still no Eric Hosmer, who's out with a strained right shoulder.
But Ned Yost did say that he was still day-to-day. So we may see Hosmer before the next 2 are over.
And Rick Porcello will make back-to-back starts against the Royals. Throws a strike to Gerard Dyson. Porcello went just 4 innings on Thursday against the Royals. Gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, and had a drop in velocity that really concerned the Tigers. And that was after 9 days rest. Usually when you have that much time off, you come back strong, but not Porcello on Thursday.
No, he's been a grinder this year. 171 in the 3rd innings coming into this start. He's given up 222 hits. That's most in the AL. And a .313 batting average against. So if you're an offensive hitter like the Royals are and hoping to be tonight, you see those numbers and you all of a sudden start saying, I want to swing that bat. I'm going to find me a hole off this guy. He's going to give me something to hit.
1-2 on Dyson.
His balls are up in the zone. He's got a sinking fastball, 88 to 92. Slider, occasional curves, and some changeups, but mainly sinkers.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Porcello is 23 years old. He is out of New Jersey. Tigers' first-round pick in 2007, and he got to the big leagues in 2009 at the age of 20. And Dyson takes the count from 0-2 to 3-2. Gerard just 2 out of 11 during the road trip, but he had 2 stolen bases, giving him 30 for the year. And the Royals have 2 30 stolen base guys for the first time since the year they won the World Series, 1985. Dyson is out on a slow roller to Infante. Now Ford will give us a look at the Motor City defense. That's appropriate.
Okay, you see Austin Jackson out there. Love to watch him go get balls. Now, Miguel Cabrera, you got to be impressed, not only with his offense, but let's talk about his defense. He's only aired 13 times in 158 games. I played third before, Ryan, not very often because I was terrible. It's a hard position to play. He does a good job.
Escobar showing no rust after missing the weekend series as he singles up the right field line.
Shocked the house. He got a base hit off Porcello. Might want to ask for the ball. That makes him 1 for 19. And he didn't waste any time. First pitch he sees. There they go, Esky. He's laughing over there. Seeing that guy's owned me.
And now 1 on 1 out for Alex. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs during the trip, and the 2 doubles give him 51 on the year, becoming just the 3rd Royal in history with at least 50 doubles. And he leads the major leagues in that category. The Brewers' Aramis Ramirez leads the National League with 50. One ball, 1 strike.
Escobar hit a little hop to his step today. I asked him how he was feeling, and he looked at me right away and said, "Watch me go, Poppy. I'm on it today." And so that didn't surprise me. He was first ball hacking, and he looks like he wants to rip off a base.
One and 2 on Alex. Well, he injured the shoulder on Thursday, and after the game, he declared himself ready to go on Friday in Cleveland. Ned Yost said, well, let's give it another day. He proclaimed that he was ready to go on Saturday and then was pleading to go on Sunday, but the Royals being careful with him, and that's his throwing shoulder. Hosmer's is his non-throwing shoulder.
He's the kind of player that when he hurts himself and then you ask him how's he doing and he tells you I'm ready to go, you give him 2 more days after that. Managers have to learn how to deal with their players, their pain threshold, all that's weighed heavily. He wants to play. He's a player.
Very close at first base.
Now that'll test your arm there. That little dive back. Now here it is here. He ran a long way to center field and kind of jammed his right shoulder. Made a great effort. But that dive back into first base just now, that'll test a sore shoulder.
Porcello strikes out Alex. 2 down in the first.
Okay, this play back in Detroit. Watch how far he goes out to center field. Now, Lowe didn't get a good break on it. He actually went back. I mean, Alcides, he went all the way to center field and almost made that play. Tremendous range. To his left, right, and back. And don't try a little 2-hopper, 3-hopper in on him either. He'll come get you there.
He's running. Laird's throw is on a bounce and into center field. Peralta goes to pick it up, but no play. Escobar steals his 33rd, and Laird is hit with an error.
Escobar looked a little runnerish to me. He looked like he wanted to take off, and he finally got a pitch. It was a breaking ball down, which is what you want to do here. Took a little peek back, but then once there was no contact, he said, I'm on. Now, when you slide feet first like that, your head pops up. You can see the ball get by the fielder, advance to third.
Infield plays back for Billy Butler, so a well-placed ground ball could drive in a run. Billy has driven in 107 this year, 6th in the league, and with one more home run, he would become one of 4 players in the American League with a 300 batting average, at least 30 home runs, and at least 100 RBIs. He got a pitch up, and he popped it up, and fielder runs to the barrier wall. I said a well-placed ground ball would get in a run. There are 2 down. .39 hits for Billy, leading the league in September, and on the trip in Detroit and Cleveland, 9 hits, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, and his next hit will be number 190.
Talk about finishing strong. You could make a note on that by Billy.
Hit hard to right field, but right at Garcia. So the Royals leave Escobar at third base, and no score at the end of 1. Well, one question we ask you tonight in our Sprint You Call It question, and we'll be asking you all series, looking back at some of the highlights of the year. The best pitching performance. And here is choice A, Felipe Paulino, May 16th against the Baltimore Orioles. And where would the Royals be right now if they had Felipe Paulino all season?
How about young Danny Duffy as well? Right-handed and left-handed power pitchers that were healthy all year would have been a big difference.
Ball 1 to Prince Fielder. Prince Fielder, one of those hitters I was referring to last year, or last inning, when Billy Butler, with one home run shy of 30, would join Prince Fielder with at least a 300 batting average, 30 home runs, 100 RBIs. 2 balls, 1 strike. Escobar has it pop out of his glove, and then he can't find the grip, and Fielder will have an infield single.
Now, they'll give him a hit on that, but Escobar just missed it. He gloves that the first time he's out. He just kind of hit in the heel of his glove. He misplayed that. He's so good, he makes those plays in his sleep.
Which is a little frightening for his neighbors when he's fielding ground balls in the hole in the middle of the night. But he does it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
One and one on Delman Young. By the way, in the best pitching performances, that Felipe Paulino start on May the 16th, he went 7 scoreless innings against Baltimore and had 9 strikeouts. Royals lost that game in 15 innings. Chance for 2. Out at second. Falou to Butler. 2 down in the second.
Royals defense, let's check it out. Sponsored by Ford. David Lowe's out there in center field. Irving Falou's the second baseman, and Billy Butler's over there at first. But let's not forget about Salvador Perez. He's had 5 pickoffs this year that leads the major leagues in that category. And look at the percentage, 38% catching runners. Anything over 30 is really good. He was up in the 40, but he allowed 4 stolen bases over the weekend. It wasn't that he allowed it, but the pitchers and him missed on 4 this weekend. His game plan retention is off the charts, Dave Island says. Salvador Perez is a beast. He's really good on both sides of the ball. Never gets tired of talking about young, talented, energetic players that help the whole team get better with that energy they bring out there. Coaching staff, everyone.
Very high in the air to low in center field. Leadoff single for the Tigers. The Royals turn to double play, and Bruce Chen has faced only 6 in the first 2 innings. This is Bob Glazer, who lives in Lee Summit, Missouri, Vice President of Business Development for Summit Bank of Kansas City. He has been recognized with many accolades, including the Independence Chamber of Commerce Citizen of the Year and the Lee Summit Chamber of Commerce Community Character Lifetime Award. That's quite an award. That's a mouthful, just like that popcorn. In addition, for the past 30 years, he has been an American United Way volunteer, helping to raise millions of dollars and sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game. As the Royals send up Salvador Perez, Mike Moustakas, and Jeff Francoeur. Perez goes the other way and gets it past Infante for a leadoff base hit. And Perez trying to finish strong. He's hit in 6 in a row.
There's a lot to be said for finishing strong. There's such a long off season, and when the organization has their meetings and they're sitting in a room and they talk to the manager, lots of times if you impress a manager by how hard you play, it's not necessarily the hits or the statistics, but this the way you play, running the ball out, showing some energy, having life, they'll say, you know what, I like how he finished. He finished strong. I want a guy like that on my team.
Ball 1 to Mike Moustakas. Had a tough trip, 4 out of 25, and then came out early with a groin strain, but the Royals maintain that it was nothing serious. It was a blowout game, so no reason for him to push it yesterday, and because of that, he's ready to go tonight.
I saw Moose taking some swings in the batting cage today, right-handed, and he looked good. He hit a couple of the warning track out there. He wasn't exactly squaring the ball up, but it's the first time all year I'd seen him in the cage. He's an athlete.
"20 home runs, 73 RBIs, 34 doubles in his first full major league season. Three balls and 1 strike against Porcello, and now the ball gets away from Laird, and Perez moves up to second base. Pass ball charged to Gerald Laird. It's a tough pass ball.
It was. It kind of looked like it jammed his finger and he just couldn't find it. It bounced in the dirt. Oh well. But you know, you talked about Moose's numbers this year for the first time. Yeah, they've corrected it. It's a wild pitch now. They heard you, Ryan. But no, not only the numbers, he's going to improve on those numbers too. But he's also endured a full season for the first time in his career, and for Hosmer and several other guys. I mean, even for Salvi's hadn't even put in a full season yet. That is an accomplishment in itself, and he'll come back more prepared next year. Goes to his workout facility that he goes to in the off season. I'm talking about Moustakas, and continue to build and work and make your gains in the off season. That's where you get stronger and you make your gains.
Popped up by Francoeur right behind the mound. Infield fly rule has been called. Infante makes the play. 1 out.
You're not going to spend a lot of time in the weight room during the baseball season. You don't want your muscles to be sore. You don't want to get bound up. But in the wintertime, you can get on a great strength program and flexibility program and work hard. Watch what you eat, and you'll see results when you test drive your new machine in spring training. After that, all that hard work you put in, it will pay off. Three solid months of training, 5 days a week at least.
So how in the world did guys in the 50s and 60s and 70s do it? I mean,
they were amazing to work, have a job in the off season, but now I'm talking about modern day players. They're paid enough to where they can just train. That's their job the whole winter. So you bring up a good question. They're amazing, those guys. They didn't put half of that effort into their bodies. They had to work and make a living for their families. So yeah, you wonder how they did it. And injuries, you know, they didn't have technology back then. They didn't have a doctor that could put a couple holes in you and put you back on the field 2 weeks later.
I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek,
But you kind of hit a nerve there because, look, I got some old time in me, but I also appreciate what those guys did for us and how good we've had it.
One and two on David Lowe. Here's our Toyota League leaders for tonight. A couple of numbers that are mystifying, as the Royals are among the best with runners in scoring position and the best with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. And along with having the 4th best batting average overall in the league, but somehow still 12th in the league in runs scored. There was a big explosion in the stadium. I don't know what that was. But Lowe grounds into a double play, and Porcello gets out of the second. Talking top pitching performances from this year. Choice B in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. August 18th, Jeremy Guthrie against the White Sox. He had a no-hitter through 7 innings and ended up going 7 2/3, only giving up 2 hits, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. You could pick from about 3 different starts for Guthrie against the White Sox. So that is choice B, along with Felipe Paulino in May against the Orioles when he pitched 7 scoreless innings with 9 strikeouts. Ball 1 from Bruce Chen to Andy Dirks, who's playing in left field tonight. And when the Royals were in Detroit last week, Dirks shuffling back and forth between left field and right. Dirks born in Hutchinson, Kansas, grew up in Burton. Played at Hutchinson Community College and Wichita State. And will fly out to Jeff Francoeur. Bruce Chen not only pitching well tonight, but at least in the first 3 innings, he's been very pitch efficient. And because of that efficiency, Bruce has gone at least 6 innings in his last 8 starts. And in 9 of his last 10, he's gone at least 6 innings.
Especially here at Kauffman Stadium. He's done well.
Garcia. And a medium deep center field. And now the ball carries. And David Lowe tiptoes onto the warning track to make the play. 4 pitches and 2 outs for Bruce Chen. Here's our Time Warner pitch speed comparison. Rick Porcello up to 95. Bruce Chen at 89. Typically 88 to 89 with his fastball. So he's right there tonight. You can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. And now the number 9 hitter and catcher Gerald Laird.
Love to watch Bruce compete. Doesn't matter who it is. And most managers will stack their lineups with right-handed batters against Bruce. And it doesn't seem to faze him one bit. He stays on his game plan. Right after batting practice, when Salvador is done, him and Bruce get together and they talk about what they're going to do.
Now, we mentioned that there was some sort of an explosion when the bottom of the second ended. David Lowe grounding into a double play, and right in the middle of the play, a loud boom. And it appears that maybe a speaker up in the lights on the left field side went out or exploded as Irving Falou goes out and makes the play in shallow center field, and that's a 7-pitch third inning for Bruce Chan. No score.
Irving Falou getting set to come to the plate. Just caught the last pop-up to end the top of the third. And talking to infield coach Eddie Rodriguez today, he said he's really been impressed with Irving's versatility and that he really knows what he's doing out there. Had that mishap in Detroit on Friday night, unable to turn the double play where he was on the wrong side of the bag. And he said this is a learning experience for a lot of these young guys, but that Irving Falou knew what he did wrong. He'll learn from it, and he doesn't expect that that'll happen again. But he just said that it's a different game here at the big league level, and Irving, like a lot of young players, guys, sometimes gets a little aggressive in big moments, and it's just a learning curve of backing off a little bit in those situations. But really happy, and he says neck and neck with what Tony Abreu and Irving Falou have been doing in that utility role. He's also very pleased with Johnny Giavotella and how far he has come at second base.
All right, Joel, and Irving sends one up the middle that is cut off by Peralta. One down to begin the third.
I like to hear that. Eddie's a very good infield instructor, technician, really is in the hands and feet. Now, here's the play. If he goes out and catches the ball right here, it's all good. He misses. Dirks clears the runner. He doesn't get him. And right here, the fact that he stayed in back of the bag allowed Dirks a chance to break up the double play and let the winning run come across the plate. So a little adjustment there. Go get the ball. He's fine. And it was good to see him out there doing it today.
Dyson bunts, but it was foul. But he bunted.
He did. I like to see it. I'd like to see it again 2 or 3 more times. An attempt with that kind of speed he's got. But it was good to see Falou out there working on going across the base and working on a couple different angles at second.
And as Joel was talking about with the aggressiveness, that early in a player's career is a good thing. You don't want coaches to coach that out of a player, but just refine it so it becomes a more intelligent aggressiveness. But you'd rather have that than somebody who's passive on the field and afraid to make a mistake, right?
Exactly. It's hard to teach Being aggressive, you can't teach it. You can tell them to back it down a little, but nothing replaces hard work. Being prepared to pay the price to be the best.
1-2 on Dyson. He grounded to second base in the first inning. Dyson with 30 stolen bases. Escobar with 33 now. And mentioned when Dyson batted in the first inning. Second time, or first time for the Royals since '85. That's Porcello's second strikeout. First time since '85 the Royals have had two players with 30 or more stolen bases in a year. And that year it was Willie Wilson and Lonnie Smith, and they both had 40 or more. And now Escobar with 2 outs and nobody on. He singled, stole second, went to third on an error in the first inning. That puts Escobar at 291 after batting just 254 for the Royals last year, and the year before in Milwaukee he hit 235.
He's coming to his own this year. He's confident he'll be back next year saying, all right, I'm going to be a 300 hitter. It's not going to be a dream either. I mean, comes up 10 points shy. That's really good. He'll keep that bunting style going. Gets a lot of his hits by bunting, leg hits.
Still 0-2.
He's even mixed in a little pop, 4 home runs. I think he's got 10 home runs in him in a season for sure.
Shallow right center field, and it's Jackson making the play, and that's the inning. Royals down quickly in the third against Porcello. No score. The top pitching performances of 2012, and we take you back to August 21st at Tampa Bay. Luke Hochevar in a deal with David Price, who's won 20 games this year. And Luke outpitched David Price that night, giving up just 1 hit in 8 innings, 10 strikeouts. Royals ended up winning that game 1-0 in 10 innings. So Luke ended up with a no decision. That is option C to go along with Jeremy Guthrie against the White Sox August 19th, or Felipe Paulino May the 16th against the Orioles. Jackson was a little bit out in front, hits it down around the end of the bat, and Alex makes a play in left field. Austin Jackson is 0 for 2. And now Bruce Chen's retired 6 in a row.
If I get a chance to pick, I'm going to pick C. Now, of course, we're not all the way done, though, yet, are we? We've got a few more to show.
One more. Two more.
Okay. Well, hard to beat that performance there by both of those guys. Price and Hochevar were locked in to a tremendous duel. And there was absolutely zero hitting going on. It was all about executing and hitting spots.
Fouled away by Infante. 1 ball, 1 strike. And if he could do it, I'm sure Luke would like to bottle up whatever he was doing against Tampa Bay this year, because he pitched a combined 17 scoreless innings against the Rays this year in 2 starts. Two and two on Omar Infante. Tigers have an infield single against Bruce Chen in 3 1/3 innings, and that's it. And that infield single was erased on a double play. So Bruce has faced the minimum so far. Three balls, 2 strikes with Cabrera on deck.
Okay, you want to go right after Infante. And if you're hitting in front of Cabrera, you got to like that. You're going to get some pitches to hit.
Deep short. Escobar throws flat-footed and a strike over to Billy Butler.
Forget the jump. He don't need the jump. He's got plenty of arm. You see a lot of shortstop with their momentum carrying them that way. They jump in the air to get leverage. But why get leverage when you can just spin and throw? That was a special play. Man, that is all arm. Bruce says, that's what I'm talking about. That brought me out of my seat, Ryan. Man, that's special. It never gets old watching these guys make these plays like that every night.
Pass Falou, a base hit for Miguel Cabrera. And you know, even though Bruce is the one that receives the reward on that play by Escobar, you know, the defense is rewarded every game when Bruce Chen is on the mound. Under the category of they keep track of everything, we learned in our stat packet today that among American League pitchers, Bruce Chen throws the highest percentage of strikes. That was Miguel Cabrera's 200th hit of the year, so that'll end up on his mantle. 67.2% of Bruce Chen's pitches are strikes. That's the highest in the American League. And it's no surprise that he's only given up 2 unearned runs all year. The defense is always ready to go when Bruce Chen is on the mound. 2 balls and no strikes on Prince Fielder.
Okay, Cabrera down the way. He doesn't even move. Doesn't even take a stride. Just uses his hands, and he's a magician with a wand in his hand. Now hitting 326.
And Fielder going the other way, but that's slicing back into Alex Gordon. 4 scoreless innings for Bruce Chen. Royals Baseball is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealer and by AT&T, the world's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. There's a little guy out at the Little K who could give Joel Goldberg some hitting lessons. What do you think, Joel?
Some hitting lessons and maybe a new hat. Now, we know that Alex Gordon has that nasty batting helmet with the pine tar on it, but his game hat that he wears in the field is even worse. He's worn it all year long, and we've talked about it, and players talk about it. It's nasty. Alex and I had a bet on Friday over the weekend on the air, and Wisconsin-Nebraska, he was going to wear a Wisconsin hat if Wisconsin lost, but not a Nebraska hat for me. He said I had to wear his stinky hat, and the on-cam bit there wasn't enough. He made me wear it out onto the field, and I know this might be surprising, but nobody for 15 minutes would get anywhere near me. He said that he...
Only because of the hat.
Only because, maybe not, I don't know.
Right.
He said that he typically sprays it with Axe every single day, but he made sure today not to spray it with Axe.
Which is a deodorant.
Yeah, so thanks for that. And he described some of what was on there as being a mold and a fungus. I did have some fans on Twitter point out that would have been better than wearing a Nebraska hat. But that's a whole other argument. He did enjoy that comment. It was absolutely nasty, and I feel like, Rex wouldn't even... I tried to get Rex to smell it. Rex wouldn't get anywhere near me.
No, Rex, he just eats things like that.
Joel, that's amazing that you did that. Now, look.
I lost the bet.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but you might have to take 2 or 3 showers to get that stench off you.
No, I know. I still smell it. It's been 3 hours.
Jackson makes a play in center field. Alex is 0 for 2. And on the topic of that hat, Alex has said on more than one occasion that as soon as the season's over, he just wants to burn the hat. But we approached him before the game tonight. Alex and his wife Jamie have a great charity called Alex's Lemonade Stand, and we're working on seeing if we can't auction that hat off before the season is over. It's not as easy as it sounds. Cabrera, there's a good defensive play by him to throw out Billy Butler, so stay tuned. We'll work on that. I figured that'd be a waste. I bet somebody would like to have that hat as long as it was in a glass case.
Just as long as you don't have to smell it.
Right.
Just don't smell it, and you'll be okay. I'm telling you, it's the worst smell. I'd rather sit in a garbage dump and do the pregame show than have to smell it. Here's a tweet I got. I hope you got a tetanus shot before you put that on. Anyway, fun to play along, and, congratulations to Alex and his Huskers. I'm still bitter.
You see that?
Badgers let one slip away, Joel.
And I got to wear his smelly hat.
We talk about game used. People like game used stuff. That's a season used ball cap.
Games and batting practice
Smelled
every
like
single day.
Lifetime used hat.
Perez single to right in the second inning. He's hit in 6 in a row. He hit .320 on the road trip. Bounces it off the plate and foul.
Did you see that play by the big fella there at third base? Does that impress you at all, going to his left like that?
Well, he had a potentially game-saving play yesterday in Minnesota, and then remember what he did to Perez when we were in Detroit, when the Royals were trying to get something going against Sanchez. He was able to leap up and pull one out of the sky and take a hit and an RBI away from Perez.
It amazes me to play first base for all these years. Now, he broke in as a young player at third, so he's had some third base experience before. There's no way he can pull this off. This was at Comerica, where he changed the whole complex of the game. Gordon would have scored on that, and they would have probably kept going.
Peralta throws out Perez, and now Porcello has matched Bruce Chen tonight with 4 scoreless innings. Talking about top pitching performances for the Royals this year. And this is Choice D, Bruce Chen against these Detroit Tigers. And very recently, that was August 29, 8 scoreless innings, gave up 4 hits, only 1 walk. That gave him his 10th win of the year and his 3rd consecutive season with at least 10 wins. And if he beats the Tigers again tonight, it would be 3 straight seasons with 12 wins. Santa Claus is here. Santa Claus, little known fact, huge Royals fan. He's about to start getting busy for the upcoming holiday season. So that's his niece, by the way. That's not Mrs. Claus. You think he works in a department store somewhere during the Christmas season?
That
might be the best I've ever seen in my life.
How about those rosy red cheeks at this time of year, October 1st?
All we need is Will Ferrell to come running out in an elf outfit and jump in his lap and give him a big hug. 2-2 on Delman Young. He grounded into a double play in the 2nd inning. And takes a fastball right down the middle. Bruce has struck out 2 and now 4 1/3 scoreless innings.
Location is everything. Hit your spots, doesn't matter the velocity. If you put it where it looks like they can hit it, but really it's off the plate, they use your defense, you get them out. It's that simple.
Peralta gives the Tigers a 1-0 lead. You know, all the home runs that Bruce Chen has allowed this year, and that's 32. He had only allowed 1 to the Tigers all year in 29 innings. That left on out over the plate to Peralta, and that's his 13th of the season. The Tigers have a 1-0 lead. Meanwhile, Chicago leads at Cleveland 4-0 in the 7th.
That's a good little compact uppercut swing. '26th home run Bruce has given up to a right-handed batter this season.
Back with a curveball high to Andy Dirks.
Okay, watch the location here now. That's out over the middle. Hitters don't always hit mistakes. Sometimes they hit good pitches. But Bruce will tell you that caught a little bit too much of the plate.
Home runs come in bunches. That's an old saying when talking about hitters, but the same could be said about pitchers. Home runs allowed can come in bunches, and that's what has happened to Bruce this year. He had not given up a home run in his last 3 starts. Escobar diving up the middle, but it's under his glove, and Andy Dirks is 1 for 2. Abisail Garcia, the Tigers minor league player of the year. He played at both AA and AAA. He is from Venezuela. And we talked about this when we were in Detroit. He sure looks a lot like Miguel Cabrera. Same kind of a build. He wears his uniform the same as Cabrera. And sometimes he swings like Cabrera, as he does there. Dirks going to try and advance on Gordon. Bad decision.
What the heck was that? Man, he barely got to second base and Gordon already had the ball. So Gene Lamont, the third base coach, he didn't even have time to put his hands up. But Gordon just continues to put on a clinic. Okay, he catches the ball. Dirk's just got to second base. All he has to do is make an accurate one hopper, and that's what he does. He was burnt toast. Look at Gene Lamont saying, look, if it's not Gordon, it's Francoeur.
Inside to Gerald Laird. 17 outfield assists for Alex Gordon. Second in the major leagues to Jeff Francoeur. Last year, Alex led the league and Francoeur was second. And if those two hold on to their spots, it would be the first time in major league history 2 players were 1-2 in outfield assists in back-to-back years. A hustle by Gerald Laird. So he beats the short throw from Falou, and the inning is still alive. Ned Yost going to go out and argue with first base umpire Brian Knight. Billy Butler didn't argue, but you could tell by his body language that he did not agree with the call.
Well, the ball was squibbed, but you still have to know the runner, the speed of the runner. Laird runs well for a catcher, and you can see that they barely got him.
Think so?
I don't know. That replay's different there. Different angle.
It's a base hit for Laird. I think the first thing you learn in baseball, or in T-ball for that matter, which applies to everything on the field, is keep your eye on the ball. Right after that is the tie goes to the runner.
I remember that.
That looked like a tie to me. Strike to Austin Jackson. He's 0 for 2. One ball, one strike. That outfield assist by Alex Gordon gives the Royals 51 this year as a team, matching what they did last year, and 2 shy of the club record. 53 outfield assists by the original Royals, 1969. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Jackson.
Outside corner.
Two and two. Jackson right at 300, and only twice this year has his batting average dipped below 300, and both times just a 299. He's had a bounce back year. Great rookie season in 2010, a bit of a backslide last season, and now hitting 300 with over 100 runs scored. But here, trying to drive him in, and he drives it to center right at David Lowe to end the inning. Tigers get a run on the Peralta home run to the bottom of the 5th. 1-0 Detroit. 3 games of the season for the Royals. And if you want a sneak peek of 2013, if you come out to any of the 3 games this year, you will get a Royals team picture from this year. And on the back of that, a 2013 schedule. All that courtesy of Pitcraft Printing. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Johnny Peralta giving the Tigers a 1-0 lead with a home run. And now the Royals with 2 singles and a walk so far against Rick Porcello. Moustakas has the walk. That was in the 2nd inning. Jeff Francoeur on deck, and then David Lowe. Pitch was up, and Moustakas pops it up. And Cabrera has to make sure he doesn't trip on the bag, and he makes a play, 1 down. Coming up tomorrow night during the Hy-Vee Royals live pregame show, Joel and Monty will answer your questions. It is another Twitter Tuesday, and you can tweet your questions at FS Kansas City. So watch Royals live tomorrow at 6:30. And then also during the game tomorrow, we're going to be joined in the booth by Royals general manager Dayton Moore. Talk about the 2012 season and what lies ahead this offseason.
That'll be good.
Francoeur popped to second. First time up. And that was a big out for Porcello. He had allowed a single to Perez and then walked Moustakas, and the Royals had 2 on, nobody out. And then Francoeur popped out, and then David Lowe grounded into a double play. And now Porcello has retired 9 in a row.
Tell you what, Porcello, he looks like he's pitching tonight like he wants to pitch in the postseason. I noticed an increase in his velocity, not a drop like we saw last week. And he's got a lot more movement than he had.
That's a swing. Francoeur strikes out, and Porcello has 3.
Looks like his sinker's moving down. He's got a little bit of a lot sharper breaking ball tonight, and his velocity is stronger. Now that doesn't mean his sinker is going to be any better, but Jim Leland said he noticed a drop in velocity last time, and they took him out. Now there's a nice one there. At 91, see the movement on that sinker? At 95, he don't get that kind of sinker. Now he can throw it upstairs around the letters and get a good high strike on a guy, but you're not going to get a good sinker like that at 95. 91 is perfect for him.
And then a changeup. No balls, 2 strikes on Lowe. He's big, 6'5", so just the angle of his arm and then the sinking action on his fastball would make it a big time challenge to elevate him, and he's only given up 15 home runs this year.
He's given up a lot of hits, most in the American League, but you're hoping that your defense is put in the right place, and they don't have the rangiest of defenders either.
Out over the plate, and Lowe pulls it into right field for a base hit. He was down in the count 0-2.
Fastball out over. Sinker didn't sink. Brings that leg up, sets it down. Nice head position.
Irving Falou with a runner at first, 2 down. In 77 at-bats, Irving Falou is hitting .351 in the big leagues. You know, usually a guy hitting like that here has had some big seasons in the minor leagues. And Irving Falou's best year in the minor leagues as far as batting average this year, .329. But only 2 other seasons where he's hit above 300. He's a .280 career minor league hitter. He's done much better than that in the big leagues. He's put himself in a good spot to make the Royals next year when they start thinking about utility players.
And, you know, one of the many things that impresses me about him, besides he can play all the infield positions and just be a switch hitter, is that the 9 years in the minor leagues, he's got a pretty good idea how to play the game of baseball. And you don't see him make too many mistakes.
Timeout had been called.
We saw one in Detroit that was an obvious one when the game was over on the Dirk slide at the second base. But you got a guy with that much time in the minors, he's got a lot on his resume. Then once you get up here, you tell yourself it's the same game. And then you play it, and the lights sometimes are brighter. Pitchers are more around the plate. And next thing you say to yourself, hey, I belong up here. It's a little bit easier. Until you play every day. You play every single day, sometimes you'll get overexposed.
He is 29 years old, so he will turn 30 during next season. And that sounds old for somebody who's just getting his major league career started, but there are plenty of 29, 30, 31, 32-year-old utility infielders in the big leagues. And he still moves well. Not like his legs are slowing him down.
Nope. I was a utility player for most of my 10 years in the majors, and I had my best season at 36, offensively and defensively. Stole 13 bases. So look, you keep yourself in shape, you could play a long time if you're a utility guy.
Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. Irving hit .357 on the road trip through Detroit and Cleveland.
Irving's played in 21 games this year and has 10 multi-hit games in those. I mean, that's a small sample, but it tells you that he's playing with a sense of urgency and not missing a beat. Whenever he gets that pitch, he's ready. He's on it. He's sharp. And Tony Abreu, same way. I mean, I like his arm at shortstop. I like what he's done defensively. You're only as good as your 24th and 25th guys. And when those guys are good players, you got a chance. If you have some meat. I see some pretty good meat out there. Gordon, Butler, Moose. There's some pop there. Got some speed. Sprinkle some speed with a good bullpen and some good starters. It's a formula. He's got a good AB going here too. He's really milking the pitch count.
He was down 1-2. He fouled off 3 in a row. Now 3 balls, 2 strikes, and David Lowe will get an early break. Prince Fielder will play at the bag, looking into the dugout, trying to figure out if they want him to hold David Lowe or play behind him. And now they tell him to back off. He'll play behind Lowe for a little extra range on the right side.
He's going to need it because Falou's going to pull this one right by him.
Instead, he takes ball 4. So 2 outs and nobody on. Lowe was down 0-2. He singles. Falou was down 1-2. He walks. And now the top of the order coming up. And This is where the Tigers have been concerned with Rick Porcello. He has not gone 6 innings in any of his last 5 starts. He hasn't gone, or hadn't gone 5 innings in his previous 2 starts. And now having some problems with 2 down in the 5th inning. There are his last 3 before tonight. 4 against the Royals on Wednesday, 4 2/3 at Cleveland, and then just 5 1/3 at Chicago. You mentioned the velocity trouble that he was having in that start against the Royals on Wednesday, and he shouldn't be having velocity problems. He had 9 days off. There was a rain out for one of his scheduled starts, and the Tigers decided to skip him. White Sox, by the way, lead at Cleveland 5-0 in the top of the 8th inning. If the Tigers win tonight, they win the division. If the White Sox lose tonight, the Tigers win the division. The only way the White Sox can stay alive is if they win and the Royals beat the Tigers. And that's a trend that will have to continue today, tomorrow, and Wednesday to force a 1-game playoff. 2-0 on Dyson, who has grounded out and struck out.
Okay, look for a fastball right out over the plate.
And it's down and in, 3-0.
He's having some control issues.
Jeff Jones is the Tigers pitching coach.
This is a take all the way here.
And he takes a strike.
Sometimes you want to make him do it again. Depends on how Dyson's feeling. Those sinkers on the middle to outer half of the plate are put in play a lot more frequently to the left side.
Ball 4, back-to-back walks. And they're loaded up for Escobar. And the phone rings down in the Tigers bullpen in right field.
Esky this year is 4 for 16 with the bases loaded.
Al Albuquerque just starting to play catch out in right field. Porcello, for the most part, had 4 quick innings and got 2 quick outs here in the 5th, but a single and back-to-back walks. And now he jumps ahead with strike 1 against Escobar. Escobar singled in the 1st inning. He had been 0 for 18 in his career against Porcello, but he singled to right. And then Porcello got him on a fly ball to center field in the 3rd. Oh, 2.
He's coming right in there on Escobar. Sometimes offensively, if you're not a run producer, you get a little nervous when the bases are loaded. When you really need to tell yourself pressure's on the pitcher to make the pitch. But 0-2 right here, he might get Escobar to swing out of the zone.
Ground ball up the middle, and Fonte scoops with the glove. That was a gutsy play. Went right to Peralta, and the Tigers force out Dyson. The Royals lead the bases loaded. Detroit leads 1-0. Here's our final choice tonight in our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. Best pitching performance of the year. September the 11th at Minnesota. Will Smith, 7 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts at Minnesota, becoming the first Royals rookie with 7 or more innings and 7 or more strikeouts since Kevin Appier in 1990. So here are the selections tonight. Felipe Paulino in May against the Orioles. Jeremy Guthrie in August against the White Sox. He had 3 good starts against Chicago. Luke Hochevar, one of his 2 gems against Tampa Bay. Bruce Chen against the Tigers here at Kauffman Stadium, or Will Smith at Minnesota. Bruce is back to work, down 1-0 as we go to the 6th inning. And a strike to Omar Infante. And on the topic of pitching, here's Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. First of all, do you have a thought on any of those 5?
I'd say we add F and let's put a relief pitcher on there somewhere.
There you go.
Which one would it be?
I go Greg Holland. I like the year he's had. He's had a really nice year. Overall, I mean, the total package has been very nice for Greg Holland on the year.
I think I know the answer to the question, but I'll ask you anyway. Is there any reason, barring a miraculous comeback from Joakim Soria, is there any reason why the Royals wouldn't or shouldn't begin next year as Greg Holland is their opening day closer?
I would think he is certainly going to open the season as the opening day closer, and a lot of reasons, but most of all, he's done a great job in that role, and I think he's established himself as a guy that long term will be a guy that can do a good job at it. So I'm in Greg Holland's corner. I really like Greg Holland coming out of spring training the way he threw the ball last year. I know Jonathan Broxton had the experience, but it was an opportunity for Greg Holland to kind of ease into the season, make sure that last year was no fluke. Once Jonathan Broxton was traded, obviously there was a guy that was ready to come in and do the job, and he certainly has answered all those questions.
It seems like there's really no gray area with a closer. You either have a guy like Greg Holland, very calm on the mound. When he comes in from the dugout, the stadium doesn't explode and the scoreboards don't go off and, the music doesn't blare. I mean, he just comes out and does his job. And then there are other guys, like
Jose Valverde.
Yeah, or Rob Dibble. They come out breathing fire and other things. And, they really just are high intensity, almost like a heavy metal type of a save situation. And while that one is more entertaining, I'm impressed by the way Greg Holland, having never been a major league closer, just looks exactly the same when he goes out for the 9th inning as he did for the 8th.
Well, doesn't he remind you a lot of Joakim Soria, even though Joakim Soria had a lot of the flames going on the scoreboard and all the music, but Joakim Soria was very cerebral. He went out and just did his job and didn't get excited about anything, was not a guy that there was a lot of excitement, a lot of attention to, other than what maybe the marketing department put on him. But a lot like Holland, he just goes out and does his job. Right, and
I think you made a good point. I mean, that's been more team driven, the flames and the song for Joakim Soria. Cabrera goes the other way, and a line drive home run into the right field bullpen. So he has 2 hits in quest of the Triple Crown, and now a home run, his 44th of the year.
Now, he went to the opposite field, which he does with a lot of his home runs. That is Miguel's 44th home run. Now, 4th off of Bruce in his career, but just the first home run all year that he's given up to Cabrera.
Well, luckily the Royals have been able to keep Cabrera contained, keep him in the ballpark up until tonight during the season, but he's been a guy that historically has done a lot of damage to the Royals.
David Lowe with a diving miss, and Prince Fielder will end up at second base with a 1-out double.
Wow, that ball was hit so well on the line that David Lowe couldn't judge it. He could not tell if it was going to sink or keep going, and it just stayed up.
Yeah, that came off the bat pretty much like a 3-iron, Rex. Just a line drive, had a little slice to it. David Lowe really didn't have much chance. Gave it a great effort.
No, that was your 3-iron. My 3-iron would have sliced all the way down the right field line there. Let me tell you, that is a tough play. Now, Lowe gave it all he had, but when that ball keeps rising, when it hits a certain point out there, you can't touch it.
I think the only player. Maybe it was Abdul-Jabbar could have caught that one. But
yeah, with Wilt Chamberlain on his shoulders. And now strike to Delman Young. Okay, let's go a rung lower in the bullpen. Kelvin Herrera was a pleasant surprise, to say the least, for the Royals this year.
Well, he really was. I think he stepped in and did the job that Greg Holland did so well last year in coming in, putting out fires. It could be bases loaded, nobody out. If Kelvin Herrera comes in the game, you know he's got a chance of getting out of that, and he did that a lot. Again, similar to what Greg Holland did last year.
Delman Young is grounded into a double play and struck out tonight. Got it in on his hands and fouled away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
But one thing I noticed with Herrera, I started keeping an eye on him in spring training. First time I had a chance to really see him a lot. And when he mixes his pitches, he is so much more effective. And like any pitcher, you can't throw 100 miles an hour and get it by a lot of major league hitters. And I saw that a little bit for him in spring training. But as the season really progressed, it seemed like he learned how to pitch out there. And he's got that really equalizing changeup.
Sinking on Alex Gordon, who goes into a dive and makes the play on Delman Young.
Okay, now this ball appeared that it was struck harder, but Gordon read it perfectly. Sinking liner comes in. He don't leave his feet unless he has to. And it's another example of a guy giving it up every single day.
We've seen that patented face plant before from Alex.
And those legs curling up his back too. And that hurts just a little more on October 1st than it does on May the 1st. 1-1 on Peralta. He homered to left field in the 5th inning, giving the Tigers a 1-0 lead. And now here in the 6th, Miguel Cabrera with a home run to right, his 44th, to give Detroit a 2-0 lead. 2 balls and 1 strike. Surprisingly, with all the power or all the power potential for Detroit, they are 10th in the American League in home runs. Cabrera has 44, Fielder has 30, Young has 18, and then it really tails off. And that's hit well to center. David Lowe gets turned around but drops it. And then heaves it back to the infield. Bruce Chen has to make the play near the mound. And Peralta landed heavy as he went into second base. It's an error on David Lowe. No RBI. Prince Fielder scores and the Tigers lead 3-0.
Okay, when the ball was hit, Lowe took off and turned his back to it and turned the right way. He just didn't stay on it. The ball kind of played him. And then he threw it in, you're right, and then Peralta just kind of crashed over there. Got his hand back on the base before Eske could get the tag on it. That's a couple plays out there that could have gotten Bruce out of the inning there, but David Lowe is learning what it's like to be a center fielder and how hard it can be on balls hit right at you.
But it almost looked like he got turned around, and then when he came back to pick up that ball, he may not have picked it out of the lights very well because he was kind of crouched down, almost looking up, maybe into the lights.
Played him.
So a rare unearned run. We were talking earlier about how Bruce has gotten great defense this year. And now a line drive to right, and Francoeur will have to play it on a bounce. The throw goes to the plate. Dirks to second. Safe. Escobar can't believe it. Like Perez put it right on the bag, and Dirks slid into the throw. And for the second time tonight, Ned Yost is going to go out and argue with an umpire.
Wow. You know, to come and get that cutoff from Francoeur like Salvi did, and he picks it, and off balance, like a shortstop throwing that ball right there to Escobar. What a pick by Eske. He's out. Boy, I didn't think the ball bounced, but it did. But look at those hands right there on Escobar. A perfect feed. First base side of the bag. They got it. But he called him safe. Boy, Salvador Perez, what a throw.
So it's a single. Peralta goes to third, and Dirks to second on the throw. And now two in scoring position for Abisail Garcia, the rookie, who was singled and flied out to deep center. Ball one from Bruce Chen. Well, Bruce in the first 4 innings gave up 2 hits, 2 singles. That's it. And now in the 5th and 6th innings, he's allowed 2 home runs, a double, and 4 singles. And all of a sudden, the Tigers have 3 runs, 9 hits. And now, after ball 1, the Royals will put Garcia on and go after Tiger catcher Gerald Laird, the number 9 hitter. This will be Bruce Chen's first walk tonight.
Miguel Cabrera calls this kid here Mini-Me. It's pretty funny. They look a lot alike when they stand, the way they.
And he's not very many.
No, he's a big guy.
So it's Chen and Laird. Laird has an infield single, and he's popped to second. And you got to be ready for a bunt. I don't say this about many catchers in the league, but he will bunt. He's a very good drag bunter. Moustakas is deep at third. And Laird takes ball 1.
He'd have to have his head examined if he bunts here with the bases loaded, though, because I'll tell you, you want to swing the bat. You got a 3-run lead. Your team's trying to clinch it. He's going to try to get more than 1. However, Moose is playing him backward. Say, go ahead, bunt it. Get the 1 RBI.
2 balls and no strikes. Lewis Coleman throwing in the Royals bullpen. Gerald Laird this year is 9 out of 15 against the Royals. Two and 1. Now Bruce trying to get around the bases loaded here in bonus time for the Tigers after the error by Lowe. In his previous 2 starts against Detroit and before that the White Sox, he got out of bases loaded, nobody out. And now 3 balls and 1 strike. Up the left field line, a fair ball. So Gerald Laird, the Royals wanted to pitch to him. They intentionally walked Garcia in front of him, and he drives in 3.
That's what you do when they walk the guy ahead of you. Take advantage of a couple of miscues in the field, and then you make him pay. 3 and 1, he was sitting all over that fastball there. Got the top hand on it.
Chen had to throw a strike. Laird knew it. Certainly took advantage of it.
Chevy called to the bullpen. Lewis Coleman will face Austin Jackson, the 9th Tiger to come up in the inning. 9 hitter has driven in 3 runs in a 5-run 6th inning. And it means that 9 will come to the plate, and Lewis Coleman will pitch to Austin Jackson, the only Tiger who hasn't batted in the inning. Bruce Chen all season in his first 33 starts only allowed 2 unearned runs because the defense has been so good behind him. But now 4 unearned runs in this inning alone. It's the difference between the Royals batting right now down 2-0 and coming up in the bottom of the 6th down at least 6-0. Jackson is 0 for 3 tonight. He is 1 out of 5 against Coleman. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ryan Lewis Coleman's done a nice job for the majority of this season. 41st ball game. He's got a sub-4 ERA, so it's good to see him really kind of bounce back. He had a nice year last year, had his struggles at times during the year, but he's really threw the ball very much better as of late, so that's good to see.
And he strikes out Jackson to end the inning. Damage done. Tigers come up with 5. The first run on Miguel Cabrera's league-leading 44th home run of the year as he tries to become the first Triple Crown winner in the Major League since 1967. Bottom of the 6th inning, our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Chuck Isaac from Lenexa. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Chuck wins $100. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Chuck wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. And because of Alex Gordon's home run in the 6th inning yesterday, we start with a brand new pot tonight. Alex, followed by Billy Butler and Salvador Perez. And the 2 previous half innings have really summed up the game. Tigers had a 1-0 lead when the Royals batted in the bottom of the 5th, and with 2 outs and nobody on, the Royals got a single and 2 walks. And they appeared to have Rick Porcello on the ropes, but couldn't make him pay for those base runners. And then in the very next half inning, the Tigers get 5 runs, 4 of them unearned. The Royals feel like they should be batting right now in the bottom of the 6th with plenty of game left, only down 2-0, but they're down by 6. And that gives Porcello new life.
I would not have been surprised if Jim Leyland would not have taken Porcello out of the game after The Tigers scored 5 there in the top of the 6th inning.
Still 1-2 on Alex.
Given his struggles as of late, the fact that he's gone 5, he's qualified for a win now, and likely now the playoffs around the corner for the Tigers. It's just hard to figure out what Porcello is going to be. I mean, he's really struggled so much as of late.
But Monty, I've noticed tonight his velocity's better than he was in Detroit. We just saw him in his last start. He looked like he was running out of gas a little bit, but tonight I think he's pitching with, hey, look, I want to pitch well. I want to show you that I can pitch in postseason. So there's a lot more on this start than just another start in a possible clincher. So he wants to be out there.
And it does appear as though his sinker has better life as well, especially as the game moves on. It seems like he's getting better, and I'm sure that 6 runs are going to make that sinker even better.
Still 2-2 on Alex.
Monty, it was good to see you out there at the Lakewood Oaks Golf Club today for that nice event, good charity they had there. And got to see a lot of alumni, a lot of KC alumni.
A lot of Royals alum, a lot of other MLB alums out there as well. So we always have great participation in charity events from all the guys, whether they be former Royals, former Blue Jays, former Cubs, you name it. A lot of guys come out and help support great events like today.
Alex blasted into deep right field. Home run number 14.
Chuck, you won you $100. That's back-to-back days. We've had winners on the Sonic Slam. It's beautiful. Gordon, he hit this with topspin on it. There's a little bit more to go on that. If he gets underneath, that ball's still going. Look at that. Perfect.
Also gives Alex 186 hits. That's a brand new career high for him. He had 185 last year. Well, Monty wondered why Rick Porcello was sent back out. He gets one hitter. A Chevy call to the bullpen. And here's Al Albuquerque. Well, Rick Porcello's in good shape to win the game tonight, but it's another start, his 6th in a row, where he goes fewer than 6 innings. And Al Albuquerque throws a strike to Billy Butler as he takes over after the Alex Gordon home run.
This guy, he stays healthy. He's really good in the back end of their pen. He'll be a huge addition once postseason starts with that fastball slider. Very deceptive, hides the ball well.
And here's the stay healthy part that Rex is talking about. He signed in 03 with the Cubs. Tommy John surgery in 05. He missed the whole year. Shoulder surgery in 08. He missed that year. He had a forearm injury last season and ended up having surgery during the offseason where he had a screw drilled into his right elbow to keep the tip of the elbow in place. And then on the disabled list this year as he was still recovering from that elbow injury. And now Billy cranks it to deep center field, and that is off the wall. In a try for two, Jackson's throw is way offline, and that allows Billy to slide into second base with the double.
How many home runs would Billy have if that fence here at the K was 400 feet?
He was playing in Baltimore?
Yeah.
One thing for sure, he'd have more than 29.
Well, that ball was well scorched.
You know, at least from here, it looked like he may have just gotten on top of it a little bit, had a little bit of overspin. So we have back-to-back hitters now. First, Alex Gordon, who homers, and that gives Alex 186 hits, a new career high. And now Billy Butler doubles to center field to give him 190 hits, and that's a new career high for him. Back-to-back at-bats.
This is one of the things that players, when your team's not in contention, they look to round off their numbers. That's natural reaction. Players, offensively anyway, say, all right, I need a couple hits for this. I need one homer for 30. You try to round them off to the biggest number. And that kind of gives you something to shoot for your last few days.
I think one thing that's been good to see some of these guys like Billy Butler and Alex Gordon last year putting on some numbers and then adding on to them, and that's really a good sign for players, and a lot of the young players will learn from that.
Billy will hold on the pitch in the dirt. 2 balls and 1 strike on Perez. Salvador has singled and grounded out to short. He's hit in 6 in a row. And now they begin to scramble again in the Tiger bullpen. Pretty good pitch by Albuquerque, but up until he made that pitch to Perez, he didn't look like he had his A game tonight. And Jim Leyland can't help, I'm sure, to check the scoreboard. It's the macho thing these days to say I don't check the scoreboard, but the White Sox lead 11-0 in the 9th inning. Jim Leyland doesn't want to let this game slip away, hoping to clinch the division tonight. Albuquerque walks Perez, and now 2 on, nobody out for Mike Moustakas. And a visit to the mound from pitching coach Jeff Jones. So Phil Koch, the lefty, Octavio Dotel, the former Royal, is the right-hander. So there you go, 11-0 Chicago, and the top of the 9th in Cleveland. Mike Moustakas has walked and popped out to third. Outside for ball 1. One and one.
There's some folks out here in this crowd tonight that have some moose antlers on. They're wearing them, looking for Moose to do something here.
He's only faced Albuquerque once, and he's 0 for 1. He's hit in Albuquerque quite a few times, but he's only faced Albuquerque once. 2-2. And there's a big difference. Hitting in Albuquerque is a hitter's dream. Facing Albuquerque, at least this year, not so much. 3 balls, 2 strikes with Frank Coor on deck.
Okay, now Moose knows what to look for here. Fastball out over the middle. Got a good 95-mile-an-hour fastball, challenging.
Ball 4. Bases loaded, nobody out. Back-to-back walks by Albuquerque. Now Jim Leyland, he's going to take a look at the Royals batting order, see who's coming up as he's thinking ahead, but he'll stay with Albuquerque to face Jeff Francoeur. Remember, it's still our Sonic Slam inning. Chuck Isaac has already won $100, but now the base is loaded with nobody out. And high and away, ball 1 to Francoeur. He was 0 for 2 against Porcello.
Could we have a multiple winner in one night?
A winner can collect multiple times, but yes, not a multiple winner.
I'm glad now, towards the end of the season, you speak HUD. I appreciate that.
I did. Not quite fluent, but I can at least carry on a HUD conversation if I need to.
Way to go.
2-0. And Albuquerque, I don't think he's feeling very good about his fastball right now, and that was a good pitch for him. Plus, I'm sure he knew that Francoeur was looking for a fastball down the middle of the plate, so he goes to the slider. Slider again, and Peralta will field. The Tigers turn a double play. The Royals get another run. It is 6-2, but Tigers will take that.
Okay, you look for effort in these games here towards the end of the season, and what I saw Moustakas do there was good. He went in hard on Infante. Got a leg, knocked him down. That's how you play the game.
And now Perez at third with 2 down to David Lowe. And if David Lowe has fire in his eyes right now, you can understand why. If he catches a fly ball in the top of the 6th inning, this game is tied at 2. And perhaps Bruce Chen is still in the game. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. David has a single, and he's grounded into a double play so far tonight. Two and 1. Rick Porcello started the inning and allowed a home run to Alex Gordon. Then Albuquerque came on, gave up a double, and then walked 2. David Lowe out in front and pulls it into the seats on the right field side. 2-2. Got him with a slider down and in. So the Royals get 2 on the home run from Gordon and on the double play. Thanks for dropping by, Monty.
Yes, indeed.
6-2 Detroit. Baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread, now with 24 KC Metro locations. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. Royals down 6-2 as the Tigers come up in the 7th inning, and we look at tonight's AT&T trivia question. Who was the last Royals pitcher to win at least 12 games in 3 straight years? Bruce Chen was taking a shot at that tonight, but the best he can hope for is a no decision tonight. The last Royals pitcher to win at least 12 games for 3 straight years. Lewis Coleman came on in relief of Bruce in the 6th and struck out Austin Jackson. Omar Infante, Miguel Cabrera, and Prince Fielder coming up in the 7th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Infante is 0 for 3. One and 2. Well, I would think there would be several Royals pitchers who've accomplished that, but who is the most recent? At least 12 wins in 3 consecutive seasons. Back to Coleman on 1 hop. 1 down. Infante is 0 for 4.
I got a hint. He wasn't left-handed.
And now Miguel Cabrera, who is singled and homered. So he's tacked on 2 points to his batting average. He's .327 with 44 home runs, 137 RBIs. And a big aggressive swing on the first pitch from Coleman. Let's take a look at what's going on in Toronto, where Minnesota is playing. Joe Mauer 1 for 5, so he's at .322. So now Cabrera has a 5-point lead over Mauer. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Cabrera homered earlier off of Bruce, and you can see it was a fastball that was elevated on the outer half of the plate, and he went with it. Now he'll hit balls on the inside part of the plate out to right as well. He's a terrific inside out hitter. Doesn't need to pull the ball for power. His power comes to center field and right center.
Didn't hit it hard, but that'll be his 3rd hit of the night.
Okay, this is a home run pitch here. Okay, look at how his hips turn out. Okay, hips turn out, but his head position and eyes are right on that outside part of the plate. And he just goes with it with that big strength of his. Waits till the ball gets deep. Didn't see him jump on his left foot. Didn't jump out there. He waits till the ball gets deep towards the catcher's glove.
And he adds another point to his average with that single, .328. So he has a 6-point lead over Joe Mauer. And a 7-point lead over Mike Trout in the great debate right now. Who's the most valuable player? Is it Miguel Cabrera or Mike Trout?
Well, there's a lot of ways. You know, we got all the numbers and they're all dissected. But if you take Miguel Cabrera off of this Tigers team, where does that leave the Tigers? Hard to replace a guy like that in those numbers. Okay, you take Mike Trout out of his lineup there with the Angels. You put Peter Borges in, who has good speed and is a leadoff guy. Don't have the power he has, but I think the Angels would still be able to click on all cylinders. Now they would miss Trout, but if you take Cabrera out of the Tigers lineup, they're not the same. So that tells me that the value of this guy, and then you put these numbers on here, and the production numbers is really what he gets paid on. Interesting to see, though. I mean, it's the speed down here that really attracts attention.
Shallow center field. David Lowe into a slide, and the ball is in and out of his glove. last time up, Prince Fielder hit a laser beam to center field, and maybe David Lowe is expecting the same thing this time around, but ball was hit off the end of the bat, and he had to sprint in for it.
Typically, after a play like the one before, you take a step back when a big guy hits it like that, and that's what allowed him to not make that catch. He took a step back.
So 2 on 1 out, and now Delman Young, who is 0 for 3. There is no shortage of columns or blogs out there debating who should be the most valuable player and whose numbers are more impressive now that the numbers have been broken down a lot more these days compared to in years past when we just went with the basic Triple Crown numbers, batting average, home runs, RBIs. Now we have on base percentage playing a big factor, slugging percentage, on base plus slugging, WAR. Young strikes out on 3 pitches, and there are 2 down.
What about with Miguel Cabrera's 44 home runs? 34 of his homers, the Tigers won those games.
The one I don't understand is, okay, I'll give you that batting average isn't what it used to be, because you want to measure how often a guy is on base. And what happens during that batting average? I mean, is he just getting base hits? Is he getting singles? Is he driving any runs? The one I don't get is this effort to diminish RBIs. That's more team dependent. Somebody has to be on base to get an RBI. And I can see part of that argument, but there are only so many guys out there that have a knack for getting that runner in. I mean, you can't just put anybody. Tigers, you can't just put anybody as the number 3 hitter and they're going to drive in 136 RBIs. I mean, there's some guys. Cabrera now has 137. There's some guys who are just special hitters. They know how to get an RBI when there's a runner at third and the infield's in, or when the infield's back. They have a knack for getting a big hit in a crucial situation. So maybe the Triple Crown isn't in some people's minds as impressive as it was back in 1967 when Carl Yastrzemski broke it. But I think there are RBI men, big RBI men, and they're going to find ways to drive in runs, whether the guys in front of her on base all the time or not.
Hey, Brian, I agree with you on the RBI comment. The one thing, in Cabrera's case, there's a name for what he's doing, the Triple Crown. There's no name for what Mike Trout is doing, and like HUD pointed out, Peter Borges replacing him, who's a great speed guy. But if you look at Borges' numbers last year, he played more games last year than Trout did this year, and he had 26 fewer stolen bases. He had 18 fewer homers, an average of 50 points less. I don't think Mike Trout's replaceable.
That's debatable, no doubt.
6-2 Tigers, and Miguel Cabrera is certainly strengthening his position with 3 more hits tonight, another home run. He also had a good night on defense. There's Dave Dombrowski, the president and general manager of the Tigers. And at the time, he was criticized after giving Miguel Cabrera that huge contract shortly after being traded from the Florida Marlins. And there have been very few mega contracts in the game that when you look at it at the end, you say that was really a good investment by the team for the length of the contract. Miguel Cabrera's is one of them. Octavio Dotel is the 3rd Tigers pitcher. And Irving Falou up the middle. Infante backhands. Low throw is scooped out by fielder. And Falou is 0 for 2 tonight. Time is running out to be among the generations of loyal baseball fans featured in the Grand Walkway at Kauffman Stadium. Make your mark in Royals history by etching your name or special dedication into a lifetime legacy brick. The deadline to order a replica brick in time for the holidays is approaching. Go to Royals.com/bricks for information. Gerard Dyson takes a strike. 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. One and one. Octavio Dotel is pitching for his 13th major league team. That is a major league record. He had been tied before this year with former Royal Matt Stairs, pitcher Mike Morgan, pitcher Ron Vallone. They had all pitched or played for 12 major league teams until Dotel threw his first pitch with the Tigers this year. Infante to the right side, and a close play with Dyson running hard. 2 down. $11-0 Chicago wins at Cleveland. Hector Santiago is the winning pitcher. Corey Kluber takes the loss. So that will require a Tigers victory tonight for them to win the division. Detroit Tigers in the last 8 years, that goes back to the year before Jim Leyland, have the 4th most wins in the American League. And remember, this is a team 9 years ago that had 119 losses. 1 loss away from tying the major league record for losses in a season. And now one of the elite teams in the American League.
Amazing turnaround.
Routine play for Austin Jackson in center field. We played 7. Dotel gets the Royals in order. Tigers have a 6-2 lead.
At Kauffman Stadium, top of the 8th, Panera takes us around the league. The Yankees and Orioles entered the day tied for first. The Yankees took care of business. The Orioles did not. So New York in first place right now. Chicago hanging on by a thread. They need the Royals to come back. Only interesting story on the Toronto game is Joe Mauer and that batting average race with Miguel Cabrera. And we know the night that Cabrera is having other scores from around the league. There you see Baltimore losing. Tampa Bay still in the race. Texas trying to clinch third division. They got a little work to do. The A's trying to catch them. And then you see L.A. with some outside hopes of making the wild card. So still a lot of play, and we have no idea who is going where for the wild card playoff and the first round playoff matches. That'll play out over the next couple of days.
All right, thanks, Joel. As Andy Dirks drives it to deep center field, and David Lowe in front of the track makes the play. Andy Dirks is 2 for 4. David Lowe's been running all over the place tonight in center field. He's been going back. He's been getting turned around. He's been coming in and sliding. And right now, a drop ball by him in the 6th inning is the difference in the game. It could be a 2-2 tie right now, but because of the error in the 6th, the Tigers scored 4 unearned runs. Coleman throws outside. Ball 1-2. Abisail Garcia. Here's a blast from the past for you.
Okay.
Brennan Bosch. Has there been a Brennan Bosch sighting?
No.
Did we see him once during that 4-game series in Detroit?
I don't think so. Got off to a rough start. Couldn't get anything going. They kept trying him here and there. Wasn't clicking for him.
Batting .242 in 131 games. Had some big hits against the Royals. Foul ball over near the Royals dugout, which I think took out a camera. Oh no, it took out somebody's iPad. Something was on the railing behind the Royals bat boys, and that foul ball nailed it. That was a swing. And for Coleman, that's his 3rd strikeout. I think that is 4th strikeout. 2 down in the 8th. Let's answer tonight's AT&T trivia question. The last Royals pitcher to win at least 12 games for 3 consecutive years. I'm going to go with Kevin Appier.
I'm with you.
Tim Belcher.
Close.
Pitch at the same time. Tim Belcher and Kevin Appier did. Belcher's last year was 98. Kevin Appier was traded during the 1999 season.
Belcher used to crack me up. He always looked like he was burping. He was belching out there. He always. It was an interesting facial expression that Belcher would have. And you remember certain pitchers because you're that close and you see him, and I used to laugh at him. Belcher was a belcher.
Apparently you were 3 out of 7 against him.
Don't remember too many of them. He must have struck me out the rest of the time, but he was interesting to look at.
Biggest hit of the night, Gerald Laird. Royals intentionally walked Abisail Garcia to load him up with 2 outs in front of Laird, and he delivered. He got a 3-1 pitch and drove it up the left field line to drive in Peralta, Dirks, and Garcia, completing a 5-run 6th inning for the Tigers. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Coleman came on and finished off the 6th. He struck out Jackson, worked around a couple of hits in the 7th, striking out 2 more, and has struck out Garcia in this inning. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Last year, Lewis Coleman hit Gerald Laird with a pitch on his right index finger and broke the finger. Laird went on the disabled list. Now weak pop up to the left side. Escobar makes the play. 2 1/3 scoreless innings for Lewis Coleman with 4 strikeouts. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 8th, down 6-2. Sixth inning and lead by 4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And it will be Joaquin Benoit taking over for the Tigers. He'll be their 4th pitcher tonight. Rick Porcello went 5, gave up 1 run. Al Albuquerque went 1 inning. He gave up a run. Octavio Dotel pitched the 7th, scoreless. And now Benoit to get Alex Gordon, Billy Butler, and Salvador Perez. Alex hit his 14th home run of the year, a line drive to right in the 6th off of Porcello, giving him 186 hits. That's a brand new career high. Ball 1 outside from Benoit. One and one. It comes up from time to time, a pitcher with a good arm, and they say you don't want to give up on a good arm. And Joaquin Benoit for years was a top prospect in the Rangers organization as a starter. He just never really put it together. He was on the disabled list all the time. And then he moved to the bullpen for a full season in 2006, and his career really took off. That was with the Rangers. Pitch again with Texas in 07 and in 08. And then moved to Tampa Bay and had a 1.34 ERA in 63 games, and then got a lucrative contract with the Tigers.
He's got a great changeup.
Alex pulls that changeup into right field. So he has 2 hits tonight to add to his new career high and 60 multi-hit games. 3rd most in the league.
Boy, he just never stops. He's a machine. Okay, the ball was moving away from him, but he went down out over the plate and got it.
Billy taking all the way, and right after Alex established his new career high with hits in the 6th inning, Billy Butler did the same thing with a double to center field, his 32nd double and his 190th hit of the year.
What a year.
Billy previously had 189 2 years ago. And as all the focus, rightly so, has been on Miguel Cabrera going for a Triple Crown to lead the league, Billy Butler is in position to have a Triple Crown to lead the Royals, batting average, home runs, RBIs. And that hasn't occurred in 9 years. Carlos Beltran was the last in 2003. Billy at the moment hitting .313, 29 home runs, 107 RBIs. Miguel Cabrera is more accomplished and he's more polished and more productive at the moment, but his style of hitting and Billy Butler's style of hitting comparable, combination of power, high batting average, using the whole field, and they have the same birthday.
How about that?
Up the left field line, but foul. Joel,
Ryan,
your thoughts?
Well, it's interesting what you were just saying, because I was talking to Kevin Seitzer today, and I said, what's different about Billy this year? Because we've seen Billy be good every single year, but his numbers are even better this year. It's been a huge leap forward for him with the power. And he said it's been his hand speed, but it's been that he's kept his shoulder, his front shoulder closed, where in the past that front shoulder would leak and you'd see some pop-ups to right. Seitz saying, I'd have $1 gazillion. I'd be a gazillionaire if I knew the answer to fix that problem on every player, because it happens with most players. He said there are only a few in the game whose shoulder does not leak. We see the strikeout there. One, he said, is Miguel Cabrera, and he said it has rarely happened at all for Billy Butler this year. Another is Adrian Beltre. He said he has figured out that aspect of his game.
You know, and that probably goes back to his upbringing. Billy has been taking regular batting practice since he was a little kid, and his father preached to him at a very young age the importance of hitting the ball up the middle and the other way. And most little league, high school players, especially big sluggers, they don't really learn to hit the other way until they have to learn to hit the other way. And they get to the higher levels and pitchers start to work around those big swings.
Yeah, and the natural thing for a right-hander and a left-hander is to pull the ball. You want to jump out and attack it. And you usually are out in front. And then when they go away, your shoulder comes out.
0-2 on Perez. Can't think of many hitters at this level who thrive with that front shoulder flying out. Not with this caliber of pitching.
Not with consistency. You find yourself in the minors. It's so hard because they spin the ball. They put sliders, curves, and all those go away from you, and your front shoulder likes to come out and fly open. So it's not an exact science, and it's really hard to do. It takes a lot of persevering and a lot of practice. A lot of time in the cage, a lot of time on the tee.
The closest thing we've seen to a hitter like that would probably be Mike Aviles. Mike Aviles had that open stance, still does, from the right side. Strides more toward the third baseman than he does the pitcher. And that front shoulder flies out. But what he's been able to do to combat that is he stands way up in the box. So he takes some of the break away from the pitches down and away. Now, he's still very vulnerable to pitches away and down and away, but he hits in a way that no hitting coach would ever teach to anybody, ever.
And his head position is pretty good. He's staying on the ball with his head. His shoulder may leak out, but if your head's still there, you have a chance to get the hands through. But you're right. It's hard to teach certain guys in a certain way, especially up here. They've already been established. They've already got to the majors with the way they've batted. So being a hitting coach can really be tough. You get them while they're young, they'll listen. You can kind of work with them a little bit, but when they kind of already get stuck on their own way, it's hard to change them. You just kind of work the mental muscle.
And a soft liner is served into center field by Perez. Alex will go first to third. 2-hit game for Salvador Perez.
Gordon saw that ball take a funny hop on Jackson. He just kept going to third.
There's the Moustakas antlers you were talking about earlier. And here's Mike Moustakas. 2 walks tonight, and he's popped out to third. Outside, ball 1 from Benoit. Royals have had their chances tonight. In the second inning, they had 2 on, nobody out. And Rick Porcello got a pop out and a double play to get out of that inning. With 2 outs and nobody on in the fifth, the Royals got a single and 2 walks. But Porcello got Escobar on a fielder's choice to end the inning. 2 balls and no strikes on Moustakas. In the sixth inning, Alex Gordon homered, Billy Butler doubled. Salvador Perez walked. Mike Moustakas walked. So a run home. The bases loaded, nobody out. But Albuquerque got a double play, which scored a run and a strikeout. And now 3 balls, no strikes on Moustakas.
Benoit looked like he wanted that one.
Three and 1. And Joaquin Benoit, just like Al Albuquerque, 2 relievers before him, struggling with his control. He's 1 bad pitch from bringing the tying run to the plate. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
That's what Moose is looking for right here. He's looking for something he can drive out over. Benoit, though, he'll throw a changeup in a hitter's count. Fastball situation.
And as we pointed out in Detroit, Benoit is in no hurry. That was an outstanding move. I don't know how nobody was picked off on that play.
Yeah.
I mean, the intensity, the passion, It was all there.
He didn't sell it very well.
Well, he gets the job done. He comes back from 3-0, and there's that changeup that Bud was talking about earlier this inning. 2 strikeouts for Benoit.
Yep. It'll get you to pull your front shoulder out every time. We were talking about that. That's a very good a pitch that goes away to lefties like there.
And now Jeff Francoeur with runners at first and third, 2 down. Francoeur is 0 for 3. And Benoit with a slider for a strike. Francoeur with just 5 hits on the last road trip, but 2 of those were home runs. And he drove in 5. Got a pitch up and lines it into left center field. So it's a 6-3 game. Perez will go to third. Francoeur trying to hustle into a double, and he is out. Huge out for the Tigers. 6-3 to the ninth. In the fall. Go to Royals.com/KCrew for more information. Tony Abreu takes over at third base. It looked like when Mike Moustakas struck out in the bottom of the 8th inning on a good changeup, and remember he came out early yesterday with a sore groin. It looked like he had an expression on his face like it hurt.
Especially when you swing and miss on a pitch like that and you're looking to juice one out of the yard. Sometimes that'll tweak an already tired muscle.
Yeah, see that at the end of the swing?
Yep. Little grimace. A lot of guys there. Got some pain going on.
Abreu tested right away and throws out Austin Jackson. Jackson is 0 for 5. Then Mazzaro takes over in the top of the 9th. Bruce Chen went 5 2/3, gave up 6, but 4 of those runs were unearned. And Lewis Coleman was sharp for 2 1/3. He struck out 4.
Well, I don't remember us getting Jackson out and 0 for 5 in one game all year. He's worn the Royals out.
Omar Infante is 0 for 4, so the top 2 hitters are 0 for 9. And if Alex Gord makes a play, the top two hitters or Alcides Escobar will be 0 for 10, and they are. Well, you really like the Royals' chances or any team's chances if the top two hitters are 0 for 10 in front of Cabrera and Fielder. But the Tigers still with 6 runs, 12 hits. Cabrera has 3 of those hits. He's added 3 points to his batting average, now at .328.
And he's got over 200 hits for the first time in his career. Got that with his first single of the night. He's got 3.
Minnesota and Toronto. Sorry, Minnesota and Toronto went 10 innings. Toronto won, and Joe Mauer went 1 for 5. So he's at .322. So a 6-point lead right now for Cabrera over Mauer. He is singled to right, he is homered to right, and he is singled to right center field. So he's gone the other way, and now he goes up the middle for a 4-hit game. His home run, by the way, was his first all year against the Royals, and he only has 5 RBIs this year against the Royals.
They've done an outstanding job containing him, but man, all of a sudden tonight, he's saying, I'm going to finish off this season here with what they hope is a division title.
And now Tommy Hotovy will come on and face Prince Fielder with a lefty-lefty matchup. Runner at first, 2 down. Royals down to the Tigers 6-3 in the 9th. Man, he had slumped in his previous 40 at-bats before tonight. He was 8 for 40. So that had dropped his batting average down to .325. Who wouldn't want their average to drop down to .325? But now up to .329. Mike Trout has passed Joe Mauer. So now it's Trout, the other MVP candidate, 6 points behind Cabrera. Cabrera also has a home run tonight, giving him 44. A 1 home run lead over Josh Hamilton. As Tommy Hotovy throws a strike to Prince Fielder, and Cabrera also has his 137th RBI tonight. So Hotovy on to try and get Fielder and keep this at a 3-run game to the bottom of the 9th inning. Up the middle and off of Escobar's glove.
A little too hot to handle. Esky just misjudged it. Like maybe he didn't open up his glove all the way. That hit off the mound, and so therefore it was a short hop to him, and just went off his thumb.
And that'll go as a base hit. So Hottovy came on to face Fielder, and now Aaron Crow to face Delman Young. Nationally, where Washington has won the East, Cincinnati has won the Central, San Francisco has won the West. The Braves have one wild card spot, and now the Cardinals and the Dodgers duking it out for the second wild card spot. One pitch from Aaron Crow, and Escobar throws to first. Delman Young is out. The Royals used 3 pitchers to get through the ninth, but it's a scoreless ninth. 6-3 Detroit.
Over Jeff Montgomery getting ready for Boulevard Royals Live. Will there be champagne popping in the visiting clubhouse? We will recap this game, see if the Royals can come back, take a look at Bruce Chen's final start of 2012, and a couple of hitting milestones for Alex Gordon and Billy Butler as they set career highs. We'll talk about that. Get you ready for Pfister and Guthrie tomorrow, and much more coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Brian, I like this tweet earlier saying, T-shirt idea, Alex Gordon, glove of gold, hat of mold.
That sums it up.
That's really good.
Sums it up. You would know, Joel.
Trust me, I still smell it.
Here's Jose Valverde. Now, Jose Valverde, he was booed quite a bit when we were in Detroit last week. He is 34 out of 39, so 5 blown saves. Not quite what he did last year when he went 49 out of 49 during the regular season. And he'll get David Lowe, Irving Falou, and Gerard Dyson. The Detroit Tigers have not gone to the playoffs in back-to-back years in 77 years. Now, I wanted to read that about 3 or 4 times. The last time they went to the playoffs, back-to-back seasons, was 1934 and 1935. Justin Verlander, part of that playoff team last year, more than a part of it. He was the Cy Young winner and the MVP. And the Tigers went to the American League Championship Series and lost to the Rangers. Rusty Kuntz was part of the 1984 Tigers World Championship team that beat San Diego. And in that exciting, decisive game, remember, Goose Gossage convinced Dick Williams that he wanted to pitch to Kirk Gibson. Kirk Gibson hit a home run into the upper deck. There's that great film of Sparky Anderson yelling to Kirk Gibson, he wants to pitch to you. He wants to stay in. Yeah. That was a big hit, but Rusty Kuntz actually had the game-winning RBI in that game with a sacrifice fly. David Lowe pops it up, and Peralta will call off Cabrera, 1 down in the 9th inning. The Tigers on June the 12th were 6 games out of first place, and it was looking like the 2012 season was going to be a huge failure after they went out and shelled out all that cash for Prince Fielder. 6 games out in June. Jim Leyland didn't panic. The Tigers didn't panic. The White Sox have spent most of the season in first place. But even with a win tonight, an 11-0 win tonight in Cleveland, the White Sox have lost 10 of their last 13 games, while the Tigers have won 6 of their last 7.
And that's what it comes down to, who finishes stronger. And the White Sox, they ran into some problems. Their pitching couldn't hold out.
Falou bunts. Valverde's off the mound and hits Falou with the throw. Base hit for Falou. He's 1 for 3.
That's how you do it. Any way you can to get on base. He didn't get it exactly where he wanted to, but caught Valverde off balance, and he had no chance on that. So he just kind of flipped it. Hits Falou in the back.
Prince Fielder, you saw him pointing to the dugout, wanting to know where they want him to play, as Brian Pena will bat for Gerard Dyson.
This will be Pena's 7th at bat as a pinch hitter this year. He's got 2 hits.
And a strike to Pena. A couple of numbers to look at for Detroit with this late season surge, and they're 2 outs away from winning the division. If you're a fan of the unbalanced schedule, more games against the division, the Tigers finished the year with 13 straight against the division, and right now they're 7-3 in that stretch. And with the top 2 teams in the division being the Tigers and the White Sox, Detroit went 12-6 against Chicago. And the White Sox, they might look back on what they did or what they didn't do against the Royals this year. The White Sox really struggled against KC. Royals finished 12-6 against Chicago. No balls and 2 strikes on Pena. One and two. Two years ago here at Kauffman Stadium, the Royals finished the season with the Tampa Bay Rays, and they clinched the division here in Kansas City. Popped up again. This time it's Miguel Cabrera. 2 down in the 9th inning.
Yeah, nobody likes to see the other team clinch their division on your field. But you know what? Maybe this will be a little preview. The Royals can take a look at it and say, you know what? One of these days it's going to be us.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, that's kind of the old school thing to say is, oh, you don't want anyone to celebrate on your field. And that's true. But for a young team that hopes to be like the Tigers someday, in it year after year, it's all right to sit there and see what a big league celebration is like on the field. Could be a little extra motivation. Falou takes off. Tigers won't worry about him. Ball 1 to Escobar.
Well, they were 33-36 against the Central in their own division, and they would have had a 500 record, but this last couple of weeks they kind of just went flat. The Royals did, but 33-36. I think these Royals, they believe that they can compete with a little bit of pitching help in the offseason and beat these teams.
1-1. Up the middle, at second base, in time, and the Detroit Tigers are the 2012 American League Central Division champions. Dave Dombrowski, president and general manager. And remember, very late in the offseason, we weren't that far away from spring training, and the Tigers learned that Victor Martinez blew out his knee, and there was a huge void at designated hitter. And Prince Fielder was still dangling in the free agent market. No team was willing to meet his price, and as it turns out, the Tigers did. And in his first year playing for the team that his father played for, he helps lead the Tigers to a Central Division championship. And since Dave Dombrowski has taken over as president and general manager, and Jim Leland has taken over as field manager, he gets a big hug from Miguel Cabrera. That's the second time they've won the division. 3 times they have finished in second place. They advanced to the World Series in 2006. Last year they advanced to the American League Championship Series, losing to the Rangers. And this year they're back in the playoffs again.
Well, congratulations to them. It happened late. I mean, they grinded all year long, but they got hot at the right time, especially Cabrera going for the MVP. And
if he is most valuable player in the league, Many will point to whether he won the Triple Crown or not. Others will point to he had a great month of September. So when the Tigers needed him the most, he was there. And Prince Fielder, who as a kid in his little Tigers uniform used to take batting practice at Old Tigers Stadium, now he's a division champion with the Tigers. And Miguel Cabrera, in his quest for the Triple Crown, had a 4-hit game tonight, including a home run, his 44th of the year, getting his batting average up to 329. And some of the players are already putting on the goggles, anticipating a champagne shower inside the visitors' clubhouse here at Kauffman Stadium.
It's a long season. It sure is special, though, when you're on the winning team.
6-3 the final score. We'll be right back.